Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Pagey, here once again with another American Horror Story hotel review. This is episode 3 entitled Mummy, or how Americans pronounce it, Mommy, like it's spelled with an O. In Australia we spell it with a U. But anyway, this episode was one of those ones. This is the first episode where it's not over in like those 1.5 hour episodes. This is roughly just over an hour or something. So it's gone back to like roughly its normal length that it will be for the rest of this season. But still, they put a decent amount of content in this, and it left some things unexplained, or at least set up some things for the next couple of episodes, if not the rest of the season. So the episode really starts off with Tristan meeting, going to Mr. March's room and meeting with him again, and letting him know that he knows all about his killings, and he found out through Google, which Mr. March finds fascinating. I like it. I love Mr. March. I love his character. I think Evan Peters is doing a really good job. He's probably my favourite character on the show. And hopefully gets much more involved later in the season. We then get like a monologue from Alex, and Alex is John's wife, if you're not familiar with the character names. I know I'm not really have to Google the actors' names to find out the characters' names, because I'm not really down pat with it. So give me a couple of episodes and I'll definitely know them all off by heart. But yeah, so she's John's wife, and she's like recounting the ordeal with Holden's abduction and stuff like that. And throughout this like monologue sort of thing, we actually find out that she actually attempted suicide roughly a year after Holden's disappearance. So obviously this could be like a catalyst for the whole. Obviously Holden's abduction in general is like an issue for their marriage, but also her like being this depressed and this out of it that she feels that she has to take her own life is obviously an issue for their marriage. Now Claudia, who we met in, was it last episode? Yeah, it was last episode, who's aka Naomi Campbell. Once again, if you're not familiar with the character names, actually gets like viciously murdered, like viciously stabbed by the junkie. I don't know if they've given him a name, but the guy that's played by Max Greenfield, who's from, what's that show with Zooey Deschanel, New Girl I think it is. Remember how he was stitched in the mattress by Sally. He comes out, strangles her, comes out, steals a pair of scissors off her, and just continuously stabs her. And then he's like fit of like going mad. He actually runs out of the hotel room and actually runs into John Lowe, and he gets taken to hospital, and he actually dies in hospital. But before he dies from like some form of his like heart attack or something, I'm not too sure what happened there, he actually tells John Lowe that he didn't mean to kill her, which is pretty interesting. So John goes back and he investigates that. Now when John actually gets there, he finds Sally like stalking, and actually she gives like a subtle hint to the 10 Commandments, which beforehand in this episode we had seen that this murder once again revolving around the 10 Commandments, and in this one it was thou shalt not bear false witness. And what this murder involved, it was actually in a gossip site, like news area. If you don't, it's like sort of similar to like maybe like a TMZ or something like that. And what was pretty interesting is that their tongues were actually nailed to their desks, and then I think they're all shot in the head or something. They had some form of mark on their head. I'm not too sure what they were killed by in regards to that. But obviously Sally giving little subtle hints to the 10 Commandments when it really hasn't been made public is pretty interesting. And this leads to like a tense scene where like obviously John's arrested her, or at least put handcuffs on her, they're in the elevator, and it's a really tense scene with like the addiction demon popping in and out, and I'm thinking, is John gonna get drill dick raped here? I'm not too sure what the hell's going on here. But then it ends all with just John standing in the elevator by himself, and it sort of trips him out a bit. Then we see Iris attempting to entice Donovan to come and live with her, because obviously what happened at the end of last episode is that Tristan is the Countess's, or Elizabeth's, new lover, if you want to call it that, and Donovan's sort of been brushed to the side, so he's obviously got to get out of that hotel and find somewhere else to squat. Essentially Donovan just gives her like the, I guess you could say, like the subtle middle finger, and she says, no, I don't want anything to do with you. After Donovan leaves there, he's obviously, I think he's sucking on like some junkie's blood. She looks like a junkie. She had like scars and stuff on her, like from injecting and stuff like that. And she actually runs into Ramona Royale, who's played by Angela Bassett. Now what she does is that Donovan actually tries to go up to her and like kill her and drink her blood, but she actually tases him and puts him in her trunk and drives away. Now with Ramona, we'll stay with Ramona Royale because we'll just finish off her little story, but we find out that she was like a movie star, like a B movie star in like the 1970s, like those like sort of corny movies you'd get. But essentially she was a movie star in the B movies, wanted to get up into like more professional movies, and was like in the Hotel Cortez and actually runs into the Countess, and they start this like romantic relationship that lasts I think it's roughly 15 years, maybe 14 or 15 years, before Ramona actually finds the true love of her life, I guess, which is like this. Whoa, I'm sorry, that's thunder. Which is this like rapper like named Mo, I think his name was, who's like sort of, I think they were comparing him to like Tupac and Biggie Smalls or something like that. But essentially, the Countess actually kills Mo after Ramona actually turns him into this vampire sort of thing. And that's why Ramona's here. She's actually here to return the favour, and in this case, it's actually to kill the vampire children, which I thought was pretty interesting because Donovan thought that she was going to kill him, and he's like, no, don't be silly. I'm here to kill her babies, I think she called them. Now, moving on from Ramona, we'll find more about her next episode, I'm sure. But while we get Alex actually coming to the hotel to give some divorce papers to John, and it's not like she hates him anymore, it's just that she feels that with him out of the house, it just feels like a more normal environment. Which you can understand because I guess he would always bring the memory of Holden, but I guess it's also making Scarlett, their daughter, sort of, I'm trying to think of the word, like just trying to bring Holden up constantly. So this all happens, but while Alex is actually leaving the hotel, she runs into dead Claudia. Obviously, she's got stab marks all over because she's now in the hotel and she's going to be there for a while. But we also, well, more importantly, Holden appears and he actually calls her mummy. Now, if you remember in the previous episode, from what I can remember, I might be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure Holden says that he doesn't know who those people in the photo are. He can only tell who Scarlett is, so am I right there? I'm pretty sure he said she couldn't remember them, so unless he's been sent up to go, they knew that she was in the hotel and Holden was sent up to, like, entice her. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what to find out what happens, sorry. And something that was happening throughout the episode was Iris is sort of like plunge into like wanting to kill herself, but what happens is Iris gets Sally to basically give her a lethal injection because she sees like no reason to stay alive because of Donovan's rejection and all that. But funnily enough, the lethal injection doesn't work, so Sally goes, you know what, I'll just chuck a plastic bag on her head. But once again, gets interrupted, and actually Donovan, after getting like a serving from Liz Taylor, is it Liz Tyler? Liz Taylor, I'm going to call Dennis O'Hare's character. He gets like a serving from her, or him, whatever you want to call her. And he goes to his mother's room, and what he actually finds there is her with a plastic bag on her head. But I don't think she's actually dead. I think she's on the brink of death, and like he doesn't know how to bring her back alive. So essentially what he does, similar to what Ramona did with Mo, gets the knife out, draws some blood from his arm and pours it into her mouth, and boom, Iris is probably a vampire. I don't think we saw her get up or anything or like make any movements, but I'm assuming that she's going to be a vampire now and be alive, or at least until someone shoots her in the head, like what happened with Mo. So overall, I thought this episode was pretty good. It's good to get into the shorter episode, even though it's a shorter episode, but it still felt pretty long because a decent amount of stuff happens, sorry. The next episode is called Devil's Night, so I think this is the Halloween episode where we're going to see like the John Wayne Gacy character, the chick who played I can't remember her name, but we're going to get a lot of different characters, like a lot of famous serial killers apparently coming in this Halloween episode, so it should be really cool and I cannot wait to see it. So the next episode should be a cracker, if you know what I mean. But overall, I'll give this episode about 3.7 out of 5. It was good, but not unbelievably great, because I think a Halloween episode, usually, which is the next week, are usually some of the best episodes on American Horror Story. So next week should be around a 4.5 to a 5, and that's what I really want to see next week. So be on the lookout for that. Subscribe if you're not subscribed to see more American Horror Story hotel reviews, or even further American Horror Story series. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment on what you thought on the episode. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.